Morning everyone, Tracy from the Wildlife Garden. Catching up with you all after a big break. I've been doing some shorts, but as the garden's been so cold and wet and lifeless, I haven't really been out to video. So this is my first video of the spring. As you can see, my table is full of little plants, not much for wildlife really, it was more to brighten up the winter. Crocuses are being visited. We've had our first solitary bee, a Gwyn's mining bee, on the crocuses, so that was great to see. There's a hairy-footed male buzzing up and down the garden at the moment looking for a female. We've got narcissi, beautiful perfume off them, and hyacinth and pansies, which are not good for wildlife, but they just brighten this spot up. It's a bit nice to look out of on your from a window in the cold days. Go up the garden. We have got the pots as usual. The Japanese anemone coming up, and tulips about to burst. Weigela. There's the hairy-footed flower bee buzzing around. In the path, the Mexican fleabane is coming up, and I love the fact that we've got next to my granddaughter's chair a self-seeded fern in the wall. It's growing really well there. It's loving it, so, and I'm loving it too. So it's a damp spot, obviously, as you can see, very damp. It's a very old house. Not going to worry about it. We've got Mexican fleabane. We've got this lovely wildflower. I'm not sure what it is. I need to look in my book. It produces very tall, about a metre high, metre and a half, yellow daisy flower. It's beautiful, and the bees had adored it last year, and it's come back, so I need to find out what it is. And behind it we've got lemon balm and herb robert. Yeah, a lot of herb robert coming up along the wall, and dog violet, and lots of self-seeded Mexican fleabane all in this path. Carry on up, we've got grape hyacinths. That's good. I do see hoverflies using that quite often, so that's okay. My bay tree here is about to flower. I've never seen it flower before, so I'll be interested to see what the flowers look like on it. Loving the reflection of the sunlight on the pond, bird pond, reflecting on the wall there. It's pretty with the shadows. And I carry on up onto the gravel section. The hostas are just popping through. Look how beautiful they are, with a little water droplet on them. So they're just popping up. Need to get some more gravel here. We've got a lot of oregano in the pot here, loved by bees. A lovely clematis out here. I don't know whether that's going to provide anything for wildlife, but again, it's beautiful. I have thrown some wild selection of seeds in here. See, not much happening. If it doesn't germinate, I'll do a second sowing. Garden is still quite quiet. I mean, it's getting on for 10:30ish, I suppose, now, and still quite shaded from the pear trees in my neighbour's garden that's just coming into flower. Got a robin nesting in this ivy here. I have a feeling the male is brooding, well, looking after two females, because he pops in here and feeds something, and then he also flies up into, if you can see, there's ivy in that pear tree, and he goes into there as well and feeds something. He's just come for his food. I do give him live mealworms, and he's enjoying those. Shall we see if we can encourage him? Come on then. Let's go in the shed. The door could stay open. I've got live mealworms here. Sorry, mealworms. You've got to provide breakfast for the robin again. And yeah, he goes into the shrub there, if you can see. And then he generally comes and has a feed. Good morning. How are you today? Oh, and there's the other one. The other one's on the chair there. Not sure which one's the bravest to feed. Come on then. Come and have something. There we go. In and out. He's very fast on the first couple of mealworms, and then he will sit on my hand once he's confident again. He generally feeds himself and then flies off and feeds the female. I presume she's brooding if she's sitting on the nest, if he's taking food to her. Here he's going to come again. There he is. Are you coming? Oh, he's at that one himself. Well, I've got to do a tour of the garden, Mr. Robbins, so it's because my cat's just walked by there being a bit more careful. She takes no notice of them. She's just not bothered by them. She was sat on the table the other week and I had all the starlings around her and nothing happened. There's a wren singing in the background there. Hopefully he's going to calm down again. Come on then, because I've got some filming to do. Thank you. Right, I'll put those back and then I'll feed him after I've finished here. Sometimes he'll go in the shed and get some himself. Hello, there's the other one. Hello, you come for some as well. Hang on then. Sorry, I'm going to have to feed him. I don't know how many I'm feeding, to be honest. Here we go. Sorry, I've probably swung you around a bit there. Thank you. I can hear the female calling. It's like a chink, chink sound. And he usually takes mealworms off for her. Yeah, I think he's going to take that one. Yeah, he's taken that one off. I'll leave these on the pot. We might find them. Right, sorry about that. Right, let's go. Yeah, everything's coming up as expected. But as I say, it's still quite shady at the moment. I've started a new bed over here. We used to have, we still have, got a pot with I was going to say a hydrangea. It's not a hydrangea, it's a rhododendron in. Really big pot of a rhododendron, which the bees adore the flowers of. But really, it was in one of the sunny spots in the garden. They prefer shade, and I thought, well, I'd rather plant flowers there and provide food all year round rather than just at the height. I think it's the end of April they flower, May, and then they're gone. The middle bed is looking great. The plants are all starting to come up again. I love fennel when it's starting to come up. Look at the green of that fennel. I did divide my Joe Pye plant over there because it was enormous, so I've divided that and planted some up the top of the garden. It doesn't look like it's coming up as usual, but there are signs, tiny signs of it coming up. So I've got more planting area up the top as well to show you. Wallflowers are out. This is where I usually see my female. Okay. The robins are getting all a bit upset that I'm not feeding them. The wallflowers is where I usually see the female hairy flower bee, and they seem to like wallflowers a lot. Carrying on up. Robin's following me up the garden. I did have lots of crocuses in the garden. I've got about 3 left there, look, but you can see where all the crocuses were. There's quite a few crocuses in the garden, but they've just finished. As they finish, the grape hyacinth are coming out and the cowslip. And I've noticed I've got lots of ragwort coming up in the ground too. We had a small plant here, but it's absolutely everywhere, the ragwort, I can say. So hopefully we'll get some cinnabar caterpillars again this year. This side of the border is the border I don't cut, and I don't cut sort of in other places too. I just sort of have the path in the middle. And although because my garden is shady, it doesn't get a meadow effect. It does have flowers coming up in it. I've got next door's ball. I've got cowslip. I've got forget-me-nots. We've got daisy coming up. So I do get quite a few plants coming up in the grass. I just let them spread. We've got lots of foxgloves coming up, but they're still young. I'm not sure if they'll flower this year. They might be next year's flowers. Ericium, Bowls Mauve. Planted some of those, some cuttings. The beautiful, look at the leaf on this, it's the beautiful lungwort. Again, beloved by the hairy-footed. I've got wild carrot in the wheelbarrow. I'm not sure how it'll do because it's not full sun. Here's my rhododendron now, it's been moved to here. So it's in shade, but it's also protecting that box, which was a bit sort of vulnerable. Can you see the blue tip box at the back there? Oh, with the plants growing over it, I'm hoping that will become an attractive house for a bird. I have had a wren building in a couple of places, but the nests have been abandoned. The males will build several nests before the female accepts the one she wants, so he's tried twice. I'll have to see. This is a lovely winter flowering clematis that the bees do like. It's going really well along the fence. Going to try and encourage it to cover the fence, and I've got another one a bit further down to meet it, so I'm looking forward to that flowering later in the year. This is everywhere too. This is red campion. Again, oxeye daisy. Lots of oxeye daisy. I can't wait for that to be in flower because it's absolutely adored by solitary bees, especially the yellow face bee. That's a geranium. It gets a purple flower on. I forgot the name of that one. Again, beloved by the bees. One of my happy moments this year was that my wild garlic has come back. And not only has it come back, can't eat it yet, but it's self-seeded. So that's the parent plant. And as you can see, there's more here and here and here. So hopefully this will all fill up with, I can see a bit more at the back there behind that rock. So I'm hoping this will fill up with wild garlic and we can make our own garlic pesto. That'll be lovely. The gorgeous snake's head fritillaries are up. Got a couple there. That one over there looks like it's been eaten. We do get lily beetles on them. And this one I've transplanted because it was up by the apple tree and it's come up lovely and lush, but no flowers this year. So I'm hoping if it's in a slightly sunnier spot, it'll produce flowers next year. Now you can see how much shade there is now from, well, there's the ash trees are still not in leaf yet, but the shed and my ivy do cast quite a shade here, but the ponds will get light soon. And if we have a little look at the pond, the tadpoles have emerged really. There's one or two left in the jelly, but not much. They are swimming about, but until the sun comes out you can't really see them. Marsh marigold's doing well, and the iris is starting to come up as well. So yep, pond's looking great. Over here in the shade is my potatoes. Planted my potatoes, filled the pots to the top this year. that's one of the little crops I grow. I'm hoping to grow some tomatoes too. These are plants, I think this is Veronica. I planted it last year, and this one, and this is a daisy, I think. I'm not sure of the name. I have to look it up, it's in my diary. Slugs had been having a go at it, but I've put a bit of gravel around it. I'm going a little bit more, some sandy, gritty soil around it, and it's started to grow again. I've got wild strawberry growing there, lamb's ear, some rosemary about to flower, and obviously lavender. This little shrub has a tiny pink rose on, and again, loved by the bees. If we go up here, we'll see some nest boxes. Probably shouldn't be close together actually. The wooden one, we've had great tits nesting in the past, but that one, and if I zoom in, you can see a bit of nesting material. That's a wren, so a wren's virtually filled that box with nesting material. Obviously the female wasn't impressed, so that's not been used, but so I'll have to clean that out for next year. Later on in the year, next spring, I'll clean that out. This is another new bed now we've got behind the rotten bench. My husband does assure me he's going to fix it this year. He's already done this one. He's not a handy man, but he says he can fix a bench, and he did that one. So he's going to fix this one this year. Over here we did have a shrub. In my previous videos you'll see there was a big shrub, filled virtually all this area. Hello Robin, I will feed you soon. Robin's now in the apple tree saying, will you stop videoing and give us our breakfast? I will be with you shortly. So I took it out. It did flower, but some insects use it, but not a great deal. But if you look what's in here now, because I've done that, crocuses have come up. I did plant the snake's head fritillary. Hello again. Cowslips have appeared. Cyclamen at the back I already had in, but it was just sort of along those tiles where the plants were, and a few just by the bench. There was nothing here. In the centre, loads and loads of forget-me-nots have come up. It'll be a sea of blue soon. Still got my raspberries in there, because I'm not going to get rid of my raspberries. So I'm looking forward to what comes up in here. And if we go through the arch, it's just beginning to bud up. The clematis is just beginning to bud up. I am coming, honestly, I am coming. I'm just trying to do my video and then I'll be with you. Are you wanting to be the star of the show today? Hey, I haven't got anything at the moment with me. I will feed you. Getting closer and closer. You'll be on my shoulder in a minute. I won't be long. So if we go through the arch, raspberries are beginning to bud up. I've cut back all the blackberry, and the nettles are beginning to come up lovely. But the blackberry is beginning to shoot on my wood pile. There you can see it, and it will fill this area in no time. Here's the wood pile, enormous wood pile from an evergreen we had taken down. It was causing so much shade and not really providing much for wildlife in the garden, but now in its dying days is providing lots of goodness for the garden. My old stump is still going. It's been providing loads of food for wasps and hiding places for solitary bees. The lovely green alkanet beginning to come up, and it was a joy the other day because I'd noticed there something's been eating them, and you can see a hole there. Noticed quite a few holes, and I actually found a scarlet tiger moth caterpillar. I did put a picture up on my Instagram page. I was just chuffed. It was actually underneath this stone because we'd had quite a bit of rain. I'm not going to lift it because I don't want to crush it. I just happened to lift it for some reason, and it was under there. So I'm hoping we have had scarlet tiger moths in the garden before, so I'm hoping we'll see a couple more this year. So I hope that it might be a food plant for them. I know, I'm coming. It's getting cross with me. Just noticed my rhubarb is beginning to flower. I've never looked at a flower on a rhubarb before. I always cut it out before it comes up. But as we very rarely eat this rhubarb, perhaps we'll let it flower and see what happens. Hawthorn just popping out. Wood pile's got even bigger since I last saw you. But the ivy is still growing through it, so it's making great progress. And I did cut, pollard. There was quite a large ash there, which I've pollarded. It will send up new shoots. I always pollard this one here. You can keep them under control easily. So this ash here, if we look at the stump, you can see, it's quite a reasonable size. So yeah, that gets pollarded. I've got one over here, which is even smaller in height. It's great what you can do with ash. This is ash also, as you can see. I keep that pollarded like that. This is my oak tree in a pot. I think it's survived. Yeah, I can see buds on it. I think you can see against the light, but yeah, it's budding up. And yeah, it stayed the same. The compost bins are doing what they do. This is my granddaughter's favourite compost bin because it won't probably happen now because it's cold. But when we lift this lid, at the moment there's loads of all these little things flitting about are fly moths, moth flies. Little white, they're beautiful close up, but her favourite is worms and slugs that we find under here. So she loves to have a play with the worms and the slugs. So the compost bin's doing very well. I need to turn it. I only turn them once a year, so I need to turn that. Everything else is the same really. I've cleared this table because I thought this is an ideal spot to put all my pots that I have bulbs in, and they finish flowering. You just need somewhere to put them, so this will be a storage place for those. No sign of any hedgehog yet, but as I say, our gardens are still quite cold, so if anything's hibernating in my garden, it probably hasn't emerged yet. Carry on down the garden now. I don't think there's anything else to report. It's been a slow spring. And so we're getting one or two. I'm hoping today's supposed to warm up really quite well, and I'm hoping that it will bring out some bees, but I've seen very few bumblebees. I've seen a couple, not many, and definitely a drop in the number of hairy-footed flower bees. Only seen one female. I've seen about 4 males and 1 female. That's a bit of a worry, but as I say, our gardens tend to be a bit on the cold side. This is north facing where I am now, so obviously that's cool anyway. So this end of the garden is north facing, and that end is the south. And then we have a lot of trees, which obviously once in leaf provide lots of shade. So even when at the height of summer we get a lot of shade. The apple tree shades the pond, and not too much but a bit, and we did cut some back in the apple tree. This rose has been, I can't believe how many buds are on it. When we had that very cold snap in February, was it? We had 2 weeks of really cold weather and we had snow, and this actually dropped leaves. I've never seen it drop leaves before, and I thought, because I had to fish them all out the pond. It was like autumn again. But now, if you look at the buds, oh my goodness, I've never seen it so many buds on it as this year. So it should look beautiful and smell beautiful soon. Right, I think that's about everything. The robins are demanding I feed them, so I think that's what I will do. I hope you enjoyed my little catch up, and once things start to warm up, I'll be able to video what's happening in the garden more. So have a lovely Easter weekend, everyone. Take care, and hopefully I'll catch up with you again. Nice note to end on, the one solitary male hairy-footed flower bee whizzing past. Yeah, I hope you all have a great weekend, and I'll catch up with you soon. Take care, everyone. Bye.